Hello there, everybody. My name is Padraic, creator of the Smocked Edge, and it's my pleasure to welcome you to this webinar today on, April the 24th. And we've got some great stuff for you today, if I stop shaking the table. One of the great smochters we had was a lady called Dr. Didish Clare. Didish was on the program for 2 years, and Didish used to talk about living to be a great life. And she said, if you want to live till 100, you need 3 doctors. And those doctors are Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, and Dr. Movement. And I'm going to talk to you about those 3 doctors today. But I'm also going to talk to you about a wonderful book called Think and Grow Rich. So I am. So I'm getting, I'm sorry, just my producer has just come into me and given a message. I take it that it's going to go out to you in a minute, so I just need to know that when that happens. The other thing that I would like to do today is go through, as I say, the 10 aspects of Think and Grow Rich. And it's a really, 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 really powerful book. But to begin with, I would love you to share some victories with me. And some of the good things that happened to you during the week. What went well? And I'm just waiting to see you coming through on this. I don't at the minute, but for me, one of the big victories was, and it was a goal of ours for many, 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 many years, was to get onto the Irish Times. And we got onto the Irish Times on Wednesday of this week. And there's just something about getting on national media. It literally opens things up. It's really, 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 really powerful. And it's done great things for us already, so it has. And we're really, 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 really happy with it. So if you could just, for 1 to 2 minutes, just as people begin to enter in, if you could send me some of your really, really good things that happened to you this week, we'd be really, really, really grateful to hear that. Okay, and if I could just ask you, what are some of your victories? That would be really, 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 really helpful. And I'm just going to take a 30-second break before we do that. Thank you. Okay. Okay, I'm going to go ahead. I don't see any names coming in, but I'm going to go ahead with the webinar. Okay, first thing that I would like you to say to you is, let's go back to these 3: Doctor's Diet, Doctor's Quiet, and Doctor's Movement. We spoke to you a lot, and we got some great feedback during the week about the 7-minute app. I can't emphasize to you the power of movement. It's one of the great ways that you can get more energy, that you can feel better, that you can look better, and that most importantly, you perform better. We talk a lot to you about the power of meditation and a quiet mind. Very, very, very important, so it is. When your mind is quieter, it's like the water again. You make better decisions. But let's talk for a few moments today about Dr. Diet. And when you think about it, you know, the three biggest killers in the world at the moment. Number one is cancer. Number two is heart disease. And number three is diabetes. 8 out of 10 people will die from those three diseases. And you know what? Every one of those three diseases have one thing in common. Diet. Dr. Diet. And this isn't about calories. What we would like to talk to you about today is, once again, and so many people in our programs know that, beauticians know it's what causes old age look. Farmers, I learned this, they understand when cattle are sick. This is what causes cattle to get sick. Noel Kelly, one of our first grade smugglers, was the first to introduce me to this word. And thirdly, I'll go to John Donlan, one of our other great smugglers who runs a brilliant garage in Oranmore in County Galway. And the very, very interesting thing that John will tell you is that what corrodes batteries is this. And the one word, ladies and gentlemen, is acid. In farming terminology, it's called acidosis. And it is probably the greatest cause of disease in the world. So if you are interested in actually controlling your diet, you need to go back to that old thing we had as kids in intercert biology, and maybe it was chemistry. Do you remember the pH test? Your blood has got a pH factor. And the chances are right now that your blood has an acidic pH factor. If you want to lose weight, if you want to eliminate disease, and if you want to be really... And stop broadcasting?
No, have you pressed the broadcasting?
I'm sorry, I've just been interrupted. I'm stop broadcasting. I am broadcasting live.
Broadcasting.
Yeah. And if I could just explain, there's nothing under group chat. There's nothing down this side. Sorry, apologies about that interruption. So let's go back to the word acidosis. It's really important to look at the pH of your blood. Now, what I would recommend is, or at least what the dietitians recommend, there's a figure of about 7.3. That is the ideal alkalization for pH factor for your. The big question to ask, folks, is what are the acid forming foods? And what are the alkalizing forming foods? And we're not suggesting you go on a big diet on this, but if you go right back to what the Smock Edge ethos is, it's about one, making good conscious choices, and number two, it's about the discipline of following those through, so it is. Okay, so let's go back to what are the foods. For starters, let's talk about some of the alkaline foods, okay? The really big alkalizing food would be what we call vegetables. Anything that's green, anything with chlorophyll in them is very alkalizing. In particular, avocados. There was a time they were very expensive. Now you can buy them for well less than €1. Avocado is just it's a wonderful breakfast with tomatoes, some olive oil, and some sea salt. It's a wonderful lunch. It's a wonderful snack. It's really important. So it is. Avocado is very good. Broccoli, that deep green, is just such an alkalizing vegetable. Spinach, and one that we recommended and had a great gathering in Smock before is wheatgrass. The wheat juice in wheatgrass. If you can actually, the ultimate is if you buy it in live format. Now I know in the market in Galway, I'm just looking up at it there on a Saturday, and so many smugglers, I'm thinking of guys like Tom Heavey, They used to go there on a Saturday morning and they would buy their live wheatgrass, and then you can juice it, and it's absolutely wonderful. I'm a little lazier. What I choose to do is use the powdered version. And once again, for as little as $7.99, I think, you can get a package of wheatgrass that will certainly last you for a month. I remember seeing Tony Robbins on stage in London, and it absolutely baffled me, so it did. Robbins worked from 9 in the morning till almost 11 at night, almost without a break. And I asked somebody, what is it that he's got? And what is it that he's on? And I was told that he drinks green juices. Now, it's a mixture. He's got his own product of wheatgrass and spirulina and spinach and some of that. Doesn't matter. You can absolutely alkalize your diet with some wheatgrass. Other things that are very alkalizing would be seeds and would be nuts. The oils. Olive oil is particularly good. Sesame oil, walnut oil, very, very, very alkalizing. One great wonder food is porridge or oats. And two great things to put into your porridge in the morning that have a very alkalizing impact are ginger and nutmeg. They're really, 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 really powerful, so they are. Last week we mentioned, and I'd be really interested to hear what your feedback is, we talked about the power of apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is just wonderful. And even though it tests in a pH, it's acidic, when it combines with your body, it actually is alkaline, so it is. So apple cider vinegar. And the final alkalizing one that may surprise you, and I think we mentioned it 2 weeks ago, was the humble lemon. So if you can get some really good vegetables in your nuts and some of the spices, and another great one, and sometimes you can think of the word VOWS, V-O-W-S. V stands for vegetables. O stands for the omega-3 oils. W is for wheatgrass. We rated that important. And S, would you believe it, is for salt. But beware, not your table salt. That is absolutely toxic. But what is extremely alkalizing is sea salt or mineral salt, salt like Himalayan salt. Really, 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 really powerful for you. Okay, what is the very bad news? The acid-forming foods, if you like. Okay, the acid-forming foods, number one, biggest culprit is sugar. Sugar in every form breaks down into acid. You may have heard the expression, sugar is the new tobacco. If you're interested in bringing your pH above 7.3 to get it more alkalized, begin to be aware of how much sugar you're actually taking. And begin to start looking at the ingredients of foodstuffs. It's everywhere. It's literally everywhere. So just be extremely careful on that aspect of things. Dairy. Milk is bad news. Cheese is bad news. Ice cream is even worse again. The dairy is pure acid. I'm sorry about that, but if you're interested in one of the things to be careful about and to get out of, red meat is not great. It is acidic and it breaks down as acid. And even though the cholesterol people talk about the power of chicken, when it's broken down, is acidic. So look at, in conclusion, the three doctors you need: Dr. Diet, Dr. Quiet, and Dr. Movement. Dr. Diet, I've just cut to the chase, the 80-20 rule. What is the underlying cause of most disease in the world? It's acid. And you immediately can begin choosing to be more disciplined around your diet. I would begin with VOWS, vegetables, good omega-3 oils, wheatgrass, and good sea salt, and begin to cut down on the acidic forming foods. And I guarantee you, you'll look better, you'll feel better, you'll perform better. Very, very powerful. And you can begin doing that right now. You don't have to wait for this, so you don't. Okay, that's the first component of today's session. The second is, how can you see that? You can certainly see it's in bits. And I got this book in July of 1988. I was, as I told you in another webinar, I was being trained up to be a priority management, time management consultant. And I heard about this book for the first time. It's called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. Now, if I were to tell you that every president of the United States is given this book upon his becoming president, every US soldier going to war has this book wrapped in his, or her for that matter, briefcase or whatever. That's really, 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 really important. And finally, some really, 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 really powerful people. Can I get an instruction? Am I?
No, nobody's listening.
Nobody's listening to me. Will I cover?
What's the other thing? Will you need to do?
This is live. Sorry, this is live.
Yeah.
So
So
just.
what is it? Check what else.
Okay, let me come back again onto that.
Google Hangout open.
Is my Google Hangout is open? Yeah, I'm on Google Hangout. Sorry about this. YouTube is open and Webinar Jam is open.
Broadcasting live is on the screen.
Yeah, stop broadcast is on the screen.
Stop
Sorry
broadcast.
about this, folks. My apologies.
Stop
We've
broadcast on screen now.
had an interruption. This book is absolutely invaluable. It was written by a man called Napoleon Hill, and what happened was one of the wealthiest men in the world at the time. He cut it. Is it? Excuse me. I'm going to cut. Yeah, sorry.
Was it live broadcasting a few minutes ago? It says stop broadcasting now. Why?
It has been live all along. Yeah, it has been live all along.
It says live, and then the stop broadcasting in the rib, but it says live.
Ask Jenny, can I stop it and start again?
Can you stop it and start it again, Jenny?
Or does that ruin the link?
Or does that ruin the link?
Okay, I'm sorry about this, folks. I'm still assuming that we're live, and we're having some technical issues. Maybe if I can have a quick word with Jenny on.
Hold on a second, I just put them on to you.
Sorry about this, guys. How you doing, Jen? Right. It says stop broadcast. Yeah, in red. Yeah. Stop broadcast would stop it. And if I do that, do I have to start? Can I start again, Jenny? If I stop broadcast, okay, I'll stop broadcast. Yeah.